Alright, how is everybody doing today? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about around 3 stocks that I'm going to be buying within January, and they're going to be very good holds and buys for the next month in my opinion. These are 3 stocks that all of them have great growth ahead of them and are both great long-term plays and kind of a great play for the next 6 to 12 months that I'm going to be definitely looking into buying and holding. Some of them I already own myself. Now, obviously, this year, we're up like 8%, 10% of the S&P since the record high. So we're already up so much. Even if the pandemic didn't happen, we're already up 10%, which is crazy. And so if you're buying like an ETF right now, an S&P 500 ETF, man, I don't really see 2021 it being very good for those people. But I mean, that's why I personally don't invest too much in ETFs. I personally invest in specific companies that I think will do good regardless if the overall market goes down or up. So that is what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, right before we jump into it, right before we actually get started with these stocks, if you haven't already, definitely make sure to sign up for Webull. I'll have a link down in the description. All you guys have to do is deposit $100 and you'll get 4 free stocks. Now, the reason why it's 4 free stocks is usually it's 2, but I believe it's just ending within the next day now. So if you haven't signed up already, only takes a few minutes. And if you live in the United States, definitely make sure to sign up for Webull if you haven't already. I'll have a link down in the description. So basically, the first stock we're going to get right into is PayPal. Now, PayPal is in a very tough spot, or it's in a very actually interesting spot, because they've had a great year within the last obviously 12 months. They've doubled. They're literally up 100 something percent. It's down about like $10, $11 from its all-time high. The main reason why it's doing so good is also because of Venmo. Now, Venmo obviously is owned by PayPal. I believe PayPal like created it from nothing. I don't think they bought Venmo, but basically Venmo is a place where the average person actually will use. The average person sends back and forth with their friends instead of using cash. A lot of cash payments are now out the window. That's why you see stuff like Cash App, Venmo doing really well in terms of revenue and all that. And basically PayPal wasn't really used a lot by the average person, but with Venmo, it's basically used by everyone if you're actually engaging in with these type of payments with your friends and stuff like that. Now, obviously, the 4P is pretty high, right, at a 54 4PE. But if you look at the revenue growth and the revenue numbers, it is not slowing down. It has been growing steadily over the last like 4 or 5 years. Oh, why can't I go down? But anyways, it's been growing pretty steadily. Basically, they went from 10 billion, and this year they're going to be close to 20 billion in revenue. So they've basically doubled up in 4 years. And I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. They have great cash flows with basically over 10 billion just in plain cash, which is pretty decent for PayPal. They, with a $270 billion market cap, I definitely can see this going to half a trillion dollar market cap, definitely within the near coming future. And that's not too far-fetched to say at all. The P ratio, the 4P at a 50 is pretty high, but if you're looking for a long-term hold, regardless of anything that happens, they don't currently pay dividend, but regardless of what happens, I think PayPal is going to be a great purchase, especially with all the, like I personally don't see any of the online shopping stopping anytime soon, especially within 2021. It should be continuing to grow pretty damn nice. And if you look at the analysts, they expect PayPal to do roughly 18%, so they're still growing double digits very nicely, the high double digits, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. So in 2 years now, this will be kind of about a fair valued company, which for PayPal that's growing this much is very decent in my opinion. So, and I do think analysts have this a little short. I do think they're going to do more than 20% in 2021. So that is that in my opinion. So this PayPal is a great long-term hold. And I do think if the reason why, if they've been going down within the last 5 days, they've been going down pretty steadily. So if it goes down to under like in the low 200s in January, it's going to be an easy money in my opinion. If it goes down to 210s, maybe 215s, that's going to be even easy money in my opinion. So that is that. The next stock now we have is Dropbox. Now, I've talked about this before. Within the last 5 days as well, it's gone down quite a bit, from $25 a share all the way down to 22.7. And if this stock, mark my words, goes down below $20, easy money stock in my opinion. Even today at this price, I believe it's easy money. But under 20, you're getting a steal on this. If you look at the forward P ratio, it's literally undervalued. It's under 25 forward PE. The market usually trades at around 25 forward P ratio. Okay, it doesn't show right here, but usually it's around a 25 P ratio. Under 25 is great, but this isn't just an ordinary company. They're growing double digits year over year. If you can see their quarterly growth, they're growing not only profits but revenues pretty steadily within just this year, and they've been growing steadily within the last 4 or 5 years. Basically, very, very nice growth. And analysts have them doing around another 10% next year. I think they might do a little more than 10%, but that's still double digit growth. For a company that's fair valued, dude, this is obviously a very good or a very interesting thing in my opinion. So if you haven't looked into Dropbox, definitely make sure to do that. I've talked about it before in the channel, but they own HelloSign, which is a great competitor to basically DocuSign, which has a big market cap, but $9 billion market cap for Dropbox. They have over 1.2 billion in cash. So if you subtract that, they're basically worth almost like 8 billion, right? Well, if you subtract the cash, it's a very interesting stock in my opinion. Definitely make sure to look at that if you haven't already. Now, the next stock is Shopify stock. I don't think I have it pulled up here, but Shopify, ticker symbol SHOP. Now, this is basically a stock that is growing like crazy, but it is pretty overvalued. If you're looking to hold the stock for at least another year or so, I would buy this stock and definitely hold it for like a 5-year play, because I do think it has a very good potential of being $500 billion, if not $1 trillion company. Right now, it's only $150 billion company, but their 4Ps at 322, which is definitely pretty high. The thing is, what Shopify does is they're builders of many sites. So let's say you're a big brand, or even if you're even a YouTuber, even if you're like a small YouTuber that wants to sell merchandise, you're going to go at Shopify. Basically, they're a very professional way of making a website without doing all the coding yourself. So basically, Shopify does all of it for you with a very small fee. So they have a reoccurring revenue. And the way they work is every product you sell using a Shopify site that you built, they get around a small percentage, like anywhere from 1 to 3% of your money. If you go with Shopify payments, I don't know how else that works, but if you go through Shopify payments, they get around 1 to 3%. And then after that, they get like a $50 anywhere to from like $10, $20 a month to like $1,000 a month, depending on the size of your business. So what Shopify does is they have everything from Heinz. Like Heinz literally uses Shopify, to even Kylie Jenner's line uses Shopify, which I think this company sold for like $1 billion. So they have huge companies using Shopify, a ton of huge companies, like even like any YouTuber you can think of, most of them use Shopify. If they don't use like Teespring, like one of those t-shirt sites, if they don't use that, they're using Shopify pretty much. The only competitor to Shopify is like Wix, but I don't think Wix can touch them in my opinion. They don't have the infrastructure built in place, and it's gonna take a bit to actually take over Shopify. Like I don't see the competition creeping anytime soon. They might come in like 10 years, 5-10 years, but till then, I don't really see a competition inside for Shopify. It's going to be a slow, gradual takeover if it does happen, and it will be predictable. But I don't see anyone taking over Shopify. I've personally been using Shopify, or I use it to like make stores for other people for a bit now. So I do think that their platform has grown pretty nicely. So let's look at the revenues. They've been growing very nicely, right? So their revenues are pretty good. The only thing is that for it to be like an intriguing buy, it has to go below a certain price point for me to really purchase it. Anywhere in under $1,000, I'm purchasing the stock. If this stock goes under $1,000, which it has, but it only did for a little bit. So if this stock does go under 1,000 again, I'm definitely buying. But if it goes in the low thousands, even if it goes to like 1,010, 1,050, still will be very interesting, and I very well might purchase some more shares of Shopify. So next up we have this stock. It's kind of like an honorary mention, right? It's not like a stock I'm buying right now, but I've definitely caught my eye, and I do think it's definitely can go up to $300 to $250 a share. It's Salesforce CRM. They're basically one of the biggest cloud companies out there. But basically what a CRM is, it's basically kind of they connect customers to businesses or clients to businesses. So basically they have like I don't know exactly the ins and outs of the company, but it's definitely caught my eye with the revenues they're increasing. And the reason why it's caught my eye is that they've bought Slack, basically, which means which is one of the biggest cloud like working businesses, kind of like Dropbox, but they're a little bit bigger and they're more used by businesses to communicate rather than just holding files. But basically, since they announced they're buying Slack, it went down like $20, and which is pretty interesting because I think Slack is a pretty nice acquisition by a Salesforce, because Salesforce has a ton of data in their cloud. So if they have Slack in their, like, basically they're swallowing Slack in their business. So that combined with Salesforce, I think, can be very powerful. So that's that. Basically, all these huge companies use Salesforce. They're a big cloud business, and they're basically, what they do is they kind of, if you're a business and you want to have everything in one place, like have your like all your leads and stuff like that, your customer information stored in like a cloud and accessible pretty easily, you basically want to go with Salesforce. They're a customer relationship management, which is technically the term of CRM, but it's up quite a bit this year, right? Like with cloud and everything, it's up 40%, but they're expected to grow pretty nicely. Let's see what analysts have to say. They have to say about 23% and another 20% after that. So if you're willing to hold this stock for another year or so, if you want to hold it for like 2 years, it's definitely gonna go up to like 250 to 300. It's not too far-fetched to say at all. It started at just under 200. It's at 222. It's definitely gonna go up to like around 250 within the next year for sure. So if you kind of want like a safe stock, in my opinion, kind of like an easy money stock, because this company is huge already, definitely look into Salesforce, in my opinion. But that is it. This was 3 stocks, but then CRM is like an honorary mention. So about 4 stocks in this video that I'm personally looking to buying within January 2021. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel. And thank you, and I'll see you on my next video.